What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Son of Attack once again, and today we're going to talk about what happened with the latest hard fork on the Pyrin network. And this will be a pretty fun video to go over because there are some things that I did take advantage of last night during this, and I think that you guys should be aware of some of the things going on overall and some of the, I think, topics surrounding decentralization that this exposes. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back, everyone. So if you're not aware, Pyrin Hash yesterday released a hard fork to move to 10 blocks per second. For a couple weeks now, they have had the hard fork node live for you to download on both the Go version and the Rust version. But to the best of my knowledge, I think both of them were, but wanted to be on the Rust version for obvious reasons, and I think that was the latest at 14.2.2. And then yesterday they announced, of course, that it was up and running. Now, this particular change in the 10 BPS update was to essentially take the DAA score to 1 per second instead of 10 per second, and the coin maturity from 100 blocks to 1,000 blocks. And the block reward was supposed to go from 17 to 1.7 because the block frequency was going to go from 1 per second to 10 per second. Now, this is where things get, well, extremely interesting, because then a little later on, some people started noticing issues with the actual fork itself. In fact, if you had updated and after the fork went through, well, how much Pyrin were you getting? Well, you were getting 11.7. So yes, the devs fat-fingered super hard, and instead of putting in 1.7 as it was supposed to be, somebody added an extra 1 there. There's also some evidence surrounding the pool side of things from hero miners that there were some mess ups on the balances for like dev wallets, that sort of thing going on here, as posted by Jacob from herominers.com. So it appears that we're experiencing some typos going on in the hard fork. And the worst part about all of this is that, as opposed to being like, hey guys, there's some issues with the fork, we messed up, we got to fork again, or saying, okay, look, we screwed up the emissions are going through the roof. I guess they decided to just start messaging all of the exchanges and all of the pool ops to shut it down, or they have some ability to stop people from running nodes as it is. And this is what I'm not too clear on. And we'll have to do some more research, and there will have to be a bunch of post-mortem on this particular subject before we know all of the answers. What I can tell you is it's very clear that they fat-fingered the block reward. It's very clear that they fat-fingered some other mathematics, as we're seeing from Jacob from Hero Miners. And it is clear that as opposed to essentially the chain actually being down, what is going on is the centralized parties that are involved are shutting off access. And this is a problem within cryptocurrency. I mean, look, if you're going to mess up a hard fork and then people are on that chain and they're mining it, and then instead of allowing them to participate, you shut down their on-ramps and their off-ramps and their mining pools. Okay, there's people like me. I went and built a node. We had community members build nodes. I actually used the community members because he has a really fast internet connection and was synced way before me. I don't know that he wants to be named, so I'm not going to name him. But, I mean, we thought, you know, initially that essentially the pools did not update to the latest node. I mean, this happens all the time. You have a hard fork, you have node operators or pool operators that don't update to the latest node, the pools go down, you build a node on the latest chain, you start mining, and you get a little bit of advantage, right? Because the difficulty takes takes a dump, which is what happened in this particular case. You continue to mine and you make up all of those rewards, keeping the chain alive. I mean, that should be your responsibility as a miner. And luckily, if as all of the locals members know and myself, we have plenty of node experience to do this sort of thing. So when people started telling me that the chain was down, I was like, it's not down. We're mining. What are you talking about? And then they're like, well, there's no deposits. And I was like, wait, or they were like, well, there's not going to be any deposits. And I was like, wait, hold on. I'm getting plenty of deposits. I went ahead and pointed it directly to ZEGX because I was like, what do you mean? That way I could track it. And ZEGX was getting all of the deposits. Now you can see they've actually halted them. You can see that at essentially 1722, they started pausing them. And that is because they have shut down deposits and withdrawals for this particular coin. So I'll show you guys here. Let me make sure I'm going to hide some values here. And we're going to pop into here. And if you go over to here, you will see that deposits are now not active, withdrawals are not active, and they've put it into maintenance mode. Now, obviously, why would they put this into maintenance mode? Well, the devs made a mistake, and instead of, kind of coming clean on that entire thing, it seems like they're just going around to all the centralized parties, like the exchanges and so on, and being like, don't allow people to sell, That's what's really, that's all I can tell that's actually happening in this particular case. I mean, it's a big difference to go from 17 for 1 block per second reward to 11.7, 10 blocks a second. And that is a huge difference. And yes, I mined a ton of Pyrin last night and yesterday during this whole fiasco. And I'd like to say, I think that, something bad happened with the chain and it halted. No, that's not what happened. I mean, you can get a node up and running. Now they've got some sort of backdoor that stopped a lot of people. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I still have a full state or access to a full state chain that was communicating with ZEGX. So I'm at a loss as far as that's concerned. It's still staying synced. Now I have ceased all mining because there's no reason to waste any mining resources on, basically a chain that's being heavily manipulated by all the related centralized parties. And so, they've lost all my trust. Definitely sold all my Pyrin. And as it does look like quite a few other people. Yesterday I think back on the 21st, there was a pretty decent pump. And then yesterday there was a decent pump. I think it went up to like almost 3 cents. And then it's all the way back down to like 19 cents. So it's definitely dropped quite a bit, like 30%. Not as much as you would expect, but of course they're putting holds on all the accounts. This exposes, I think, a lot of issues within cryptocurrency as it sits right now. One being, of course, inexperience of developers that are forking particular projects. That can be a problem. Number 2, of course, is going to be lack of proper Q&A and testing done in this particular scenario, because, if you would have been testing this on a testnet, you would have seen that the block reward was messed up, and some of these other mathematical issues that are arising. For the centralized nature of mining as it stands right now, I mean, the fact that a lot of you guys don't know how to build your own nodes and you're sitting there like all the chains down when it's not, is just, and it's embarrassing. Like, as a miner, you should understand, at least, like, you should see that as an opportunity. When you see mining pools go down and hash drop, you should see that as an opportunity to capitalize on it. Not as the whole chain's down, blah, blah, blah. No, those are just individuals running a node. These are peer-to-peer networks. You are not beholden to 2 miners. Sit down, learn some Linux command line, learn how to build nodes, and understand peer-to-peer networks. And then you'll also see that exposes just the complete move towards centralization surrounding it, and you can fight back against this BS. It's so ridiculous to me at the end of the day that we have a full state chain available for this particular coin, and most people think that it's just broken. It's not broken. They're just breaking it at all the centralized entry points. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you have any trust in Pyrin? If they do recover, obviously 10 blocks per second did appear to be potentially working, except for obviously the block reward being messed up. I think the consensus right now is they're going to try to roll back all of the transactions that happened on that network, which is why if you do something like this, I mean, like, and you go mine, and this is why we don't keep anything on centralized exchanges, because they can manipulate it. This is why you get out and move out of centralized exchanges, because they will work with projects to manipulate everything. And this is a really good lesson, I think, for everyone. I'll see you next Tuesday.